Twitter and all of this, and I go back to the series we did around the world for free. Why would people interact and have this host come to their house, right?
Well, tell people what around the world for free.
Yeah, around the world for free is one person had to make it around the world using the help of the online audience. So it was like a real-time show. What you were watching online was less than 24 hours old. It's almost like the first like web TV. We did like 3 5-minute episodes throughout the week, and that was repackaged for CBS this morning, right? So it's real time. You can watch this person and interact and say, "You can stay with my grandmother in Colombia, and I'm going to get you on a bus and get you down to Peru." So it was a very authentic, real time travel show. But we always wonder, like, why did people write in? And of course people want, but I'm 100% convinced people want their 15 minutes of fame. And that's when they do it, because if they wrote in, there's a chance for them to be on TV. And so you see that with Facebook, you see this with these different contests you have out there, people want their fame. And so if you can create some care and create some way for people to kind of get out there, and it works.
And storytelling, I think, creates connection too. And I think connection is a really important thing when you're branding.
Did you make it around the world?
Well,
that he was Alex.
I actually did the first season of Prove It. And we did 3 more seasons. We did 2 more seasons after that with CBS. So yeah, it was extremely successful, and it was really fun. So it was kind of the beginning of that. I can tell you about that.
But he really did do it for free. I mean, like,
what's that?
You really did do it for free. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea. I had hosted so many different travel shows by this point in time, but I wanted to create something that was authentic and that was real, right? So it's supposed to get coming out and reading the script. So I was like, let's take all money away and let's go see the world. So we like really live with moms, live with regular people. So that was awesome. It was a really fun time in my life. All right, I think that's it.
Thank you, Team Brand and Storytelling.
Yeah.
Real stories. So strategic partnerships is up next.
That'll be me.
All right.
I hope I do my good partner here service. Anyway, we're talking about a strategic partnership, and no particular order, but we talked about the best fit for brands. In other words, you got somebody coming in, and you're going to work with somebody else, and so the idea was to find sort of commonly in the vision to work together on trying to do something. Maybe there's a segment of what you're trying to get into, trying to work that out, especially if it's a big company and trying to take care of part of their segment. And obviously that involves sort of steps in the next thing, which is communication. You know, how you sort of get that trust level, the communication level working, and obviously having sort of a common goal, so you can work that out. So the goal is universal for you, and it's hopefully long term, because that's, to me, is probably somebody like new in this business, but I've been doing events and weddings for 20 years. Relationship is like anything else. It's like marriage, So, and then the sort of another one, which is also equally important, is a new outlet, a new idea. Here's a guy who comes up with a new outlet idea with adventures, all kinds of craziness goes on. So maybe it's outside the box. You're thinking outside the box to come up with a new idea, and you don't. It's almost like an AA meeting in the sense that you're not longer thinking about what's inside the box. You're going outside the box. You're thinking of something brand new that hasn't been attacked or touched on. And so you're developing that, and then you're sort of showing a benefit to that other partner that it is something that's worthwhile. He hasn't thought about it. He's busy working his business and doing his debit credit columns and all that stuff. And then the other one is, how does that make that partnership evolve? In other words, think a little bit about like a business plan. How does it make it evolve? And for many of us, small, medium, or big companies, is how does that turn into a return on investment? You may be giving your time, you may be giving your money, you may be giving resources. Interesting thing about writers now and photographers, myself being a photographer, is a lot of times, especially in the what's it called, the social documentary business part, where companies like Newsweek and other companies that want to buy photography from photographers that are shooting things like Congo or Afghanistan, whatever, they're looking for what kind of a media outlet or social media viewership that this photographer is bringing. Not necessarily the images or name brand, but what kind of they're bringing in. So it's almost like your network is your net worth, and that is your sort of dollar amount to them. So in that sense, that could be your commercial entity that you're sort of bringing forward and selling it, and therefore that's your, hopefully you want to return on that, and hopefully that builds it up and makes you a little bit attention to them. So anyway, that's what we talked about. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, and our final group, we have a moderator, Alan. Oh, good, he's bringing the images with him.
Sorry, don't hang
So the first thing I learned is do not stand during these kinds of exercises because you get appointed to be the moderator. That's the first rule. So this was a very broad argument, targeting customers online, and we had a really cool group of people who come from all different things, travel agents, tourist boards, media planners, tour operators, that sort of thing. So we all use online differently. So we sort of trying to dig down to the who, what, where, when, why, and how aspects of targeting customers online. And I would say the main points we came up with, besides, where is that interest? Where do people go? And learning about that, whether it's Lonely Planet, TripAdvisor, Kayak, and that sort of thing, is, since this is an ATTA event, is one of the things that we discussed about the fact that it would be great if ATTA sort of were a business-to-business kind of thing. What if there was a consumer good housekeeping seal endorsement kind of aspect to ATTA, so that targeting customers online is, I want to go to Africa, I'm going to go to the ATTA site because anybody who's a tour operator who's a member of ATTA, I'm going to feel comfortable and trust and deal with. Or if I want to go to Machu Picchu, these are the people I should do the research, because consumers who go online I want to go to Africa, are going to get 50,000 hits on Google. So how do they narrow it down? So that was one of the things that we talked about, and consumer facing with ATTA, and that sort of dovetailed into designating a specialist. How do you become a specialist to people online? What is it that's going to give you the creds to be able to do that? And how do you get consumers to find you besides spending tons of money on, SEO people and things of that sort? And one of the things that came out of that was make it more peer-to-peer, because that's what people do these days. Yeah, I could go online and Google African safaris, but wouldn't it be better if I was part of a community and I could ask my peers, hey, anybody here been to Africa? Who do you go with? So how do you get into that? How do you, as a business, get into that peer-to-peer conversation so that people can find you? What tools do you use? So, for example, in this day and age, it's all about the visual. My wife's a journalist, so I apologize to all the writers, but it is today. It's all about the visual. So, what kind of videos and stuff can you put on there? How do you attract people to do that? One of the other things of targeting customers online is, who are the customers? Who are they? One of the things we talked about was, is it an older demographic and therefore Facebook may be a better place to go, or is it a younger demographic where Instagram may be a better place to go to target that? So that's one of the questions that we needed to ask. And, why online? It's sort of the preliminary question. Depending on the kind of product you're offering, is online really the best place, to do it? I own an African safari and adventure company. People are going to be spending, it's their bucket list trip, it's their trip of a lifetime, it's that kind of thing. Are they going to buy it online? Probably not. But I first got to get them to find me online. But how do I use those tools? Someone came up with a great line of, small, making it unique, because the web is so big, online is so big. How do you narrow it down and make it unique? And as part of that is, how do we use today? It's not just about sitting at your computer doing your research. People have got their iPads, their notebooks, their phones, all of that. So how do we make those tools also work well for us to target our consumers online? So I hope I did my group justice.